Everyone, we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. If I could ask you kindly to please take your seats, and we're going to get this program going. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Councilmember Francisco Moya, and I couldn't, thank you. Got a couple of fans here, thank you, Harry. What a great honor to be here. I'm so thrilled that we are actually going to be doing a groundbreaking in this very spot right here on the environmental cleanup of a very historic project. But before I get started, I just want to acknowledge who's here. We are joined by the President and CEO, Rachel Loeb of the Economic Development Corporation. Please give her a big round of applause. DOT Commissioner Hank Gutman is here. I'm joined by my colleagues in government with Borough President Richards, Councilmember Paul Vallone, Councilmember Peter Koo. We're joined by State Senator Jessica Ramos, and I believe we have Assemblymember Rosenthal with us here as well. We have, yes. And we are joined by HPD Director Kevin Paris, School Construction Authority President and CEO Nina Kabuta, Janice Malnick, of course, from the Parks Department, DCP Queens Officer Alex Wheeler, and we're also joined by members of Make the Road New York. So thank you again. As we know, New York has been dealing with an affordable housing crisis and the overcrowding in schools for far too long. And while there's been much work needs to be done, especially given the devastating impact on New Yorkers from COVID-19, and especially our most vulnerable community, today we are taking another critical step forward on tackling these issues. And when I stepped foot in the City Council, the first thing I did was to work to create a true path towards bringing affordable housing to the district. And I'm proud that despite 3 administrations attempting to do this, we are finally able to move forward with the first phase of this project. Thank you. Willets Point has, as we all know, gone through 3 administrations, and I think that it has always been very difficult. It's never been easy, but for the first time, we're going to bring in 1,100 units of affordable housing with zero market rate units, and the units that are going to be set aside for older New Yorkers and those transitioning out of the shelter system or formerly without housing. This represents a dramatically improvement in this area. It will improve the lives of 1,100 families and seniors. This represents an opportunity for 650 children in the district to not go into any overcrowded schools anymore. This represents bringing publicly accessible open space, new jobs, and so much more, and it's only the first phase. And so I'm incredibly proud to lead this work with the Mayor's Office, the Economic Development Corporations, my colleagues in the City Council, the task force that we built to work to address the housing crisis and overcrowding in our schools. This is groundbreaking, this is historic, and I want to take the opportunity to really thank the Mayor for all the great work that he has done to make this happen. And I know he's on his way here, but I have to say that it was one of the first meetings I had at City Hall was actually with the mayor on this project. It was like my first week there. And we were like, we ready to move on this? And I said, look, we have to take a real deep dive on like what is best for this community and what's best for New York and how do we move this forward. And we've had some incredible partners in this. I really have to take my hat off to the mayor for the great work that he's done in helping bring this historic project home, and all those people that were behind the scenes as well. There's a number of staff people on both sides, on the mayor's office, who have been dealing with this for a number of years. They also are those unsung heroes that help get some deals done. But I have to specifically thank my chief of staff, Megan Taddeo, who has done a tremendous job in helping make this a reality. So with that, thank you very much. And I now want to bring up the President and CEO of the Economic Development Corporation, Rachel Loeb.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. What a gorgeous day, right? It's so beautiful. So welcome. As Councilmember Moya mentioned, my name is Rachel Loeb. I'm the President and CEO of the Economic Development Corporation. And I, on behalf of my friends, many of you I've known from previous lives, my colleagues and our partners throughout the city agency, this is a big day. So imagine right here where we're standing, we're going to see a thriving neighborhood with affordable homes and a public school and open space for families to enjoy. I'm really proud of the work that EDC does building strong neighborhoods and creating great jobs across the 5 boroughs. And I'm proud that this administration, and part of this administration's goal was to turn the tide on Willets Point by investing in the environmental cleanup and the infrastructure needed to create this new neighborhood so that New Yorkers can live, work, and play here and visit. Not too long ago, we reached an agreement with Councilmember Moya and our partner, QDG, to build 100% affordable homes on the first 6 acres of the development here at Willets Point. And so I'm thrilled that we can be here today as we fulfill this commitment and kick off what's the most important thing to begin the environmental cleanup for the first phase of development. So specifically, as you mentioned, on these 6 acres, there will be a neighborhood of 1,100 affordable homes, open space, a standalone 650-seat school, a public school, retail, and community space, all along with the important infrastructure that needs to come together. This project, and good access to good transit too. So this project is an example of how it really takes everybody. It takes the city, it takes the state, it takes elected officials, it takes good private partners, it takes the community, it takes good leadership from the community to all work together to get on the same side of the table, and this is a long time making. So we are really proud to get to this point so that we can create a more equitable city for New York and New Yorkers, and particularly here in Queens. When I first joined EDC, someone said to me that the work that you're going to do, you're not doing a marathon, you're actually joining a relay race, and that you're going to take it on and then pass the baton. And I think all of us here are part of that relay race. You know, we might not have been here when it started, but it's our job to keep it going and pushing it forward. And particularly as we come to the end of this administration, we got to do whatever we can to get that baton ready for the next group and keep this project going and fulfill those promises. So we're proud, and this is an important day and an important milestone. So I want to particularly acknowledge Mayor de Blasio, Deputy Mayor Bean and her leadership. All of our city partners. I've been to these meetings. There's a lot of people and a lot that makes this happen. So whether it be at HPD, DOT, I'm going to go through the alphabet soup of acronyms: DEP, SCA, DCP, and Parks. They get their own word. They don't get an acronym. And particularly our partners, the elected officials. Councilman Moya, thank you so much for your partnership and your honest conversations. Councilman Koo, thank you for your work. Councilmember Vallone, thank you for being our cheerleader. We love you. Borough President Richards, can't wait to do more work with you. Community Board 7, our reps from the state government, and our community partners like Make the Road. Thank you to QDG. Thank you for sticking with us, and we got to this moment. We really appreciate your partnership. And then I need to take a moment, really in particular, to thank the EDC staff that is here today, and the EDC staff that has come before us, and the EDC staff that will continue to work on this as long as it takes to get it done. So thank you to never stopping and never stopping working. I really appreciate you. So without question, we wouldn't have gotten here without all of you, and I thank you. And this is a great day, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. And now I'd like to bring up DOT Commissioner Hank Gutman.
Well, this is a glorious day by all measures. And on behalf of the hardworking women and men of the DOT, I'm delighted to be here to join in the celebration, and in particular to congratulate all of our friends in government, all of our friends in the private sector, without whom this wouldn't have been possible. Given where we're standing, I can't resist observing that in the life of this project, there have been a whole lot of swings and misses, and more than a few foul balls, too. But my message to the mayor and to Deputy Mayor Bean is congratulations, you've hit the ball out of the park. Housing, open space, and a new school, that is a 3-run homer. So well done, and I'm delighted to be here to congratulate you. To all of the elected officials, all of the civic leaders, the private developers, all of you who've worked so long and so hard to make this happen, congratulations to you. Your vision, your perseverance, and yes, your patience including waiting for the train to pass. Without all of that, we wouldn't be here to celebrate this monumental event. And finally, to my friend, our colleagues in government, President Loeb and all of her hardworking team at the EDC, congratulations. Those of us at the Department of Transformation have I think, a better appreciation than most of how difficult and challenging and frustrating a project like this can be. And this one, it's fair to say, may have set records in all 3 of those areas. So we understand what you've done. We understand the magnitude of it. And as one of the many in city government who helped in supporting roles, we're really proud to have been part of this effort, proud to have been part of this team. And I look forward to many more such efforts together here and elsewhere. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. And now I'd like to bring up my two colleagues in the City Council, Council Members Paul Vallone and Council Members Peter Koo.
Let's hear it for our zoning chair, Francisco Moya. You can have a better MC than Francisco. And style. Can't touch him. Can't touch him. Peter Koo and I have the honor of sharing Flushing, and all three of our council districts really kind of meet at this point. What a great point it is with our first place Mets in the background. First place Mets. Our Islanders off to the Stanley Cup, one step away. We're getting there. I love that. This is that moment where we all could say this group made this happen with the community partnerships, the conversations. So much of that took place. And this is what it means to work together with politics, with our government, with the mayor, with the administration, with our great borough president, with Rachel. I can't wait to work with you. So as I chair the Committee for Economic Development, Rachel Loeb and all of her EDC team, the predecessors and the present, have been one step ahead of planning the future for New York City. And that's what this was all about. Going back to my days at CB7, we had so many meetings and a lot of groups all the way up to 1 a.m, usually every Thursday night, with a lot of venting. But it's a good thing. It's a good day. And with that, here, let's take it to the next step. And we got Peter Koo, council member here in Flushing.
Thank you, Councilmember Vallone, Chair of the EDC Committee. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Councilman Koo. I represent Flushing, which is right there. See those high rises there? Yeah. The reimaging of Willets Point has been a long-time dream of New Yorkers, and we are finally beginning to see the dream become reality. It's not often that we get the opportunity to start from scratch, but with this project, we are getting to build an entire community from the ground up. We have the opportunity to plan, design, and implement a centralized neighborhood that will connect Eastern and Western Queens. Where there was once unpaved roads and dangerous conditions, now there will be a vibrant, livable community suitable for the borough of Queens. The permanent state of disrepair in Willets Point needs to end. And with this environmental cleanup for the first phase of development, we will realize a host of new amenities that will support and enhance our communities for generations to come. The new amenities will serve the area well: a new school, affordable housing, open space, community space, and especially the new infrastructure are all essential needs for this area. I'm happy to join all of you today and look forward to the day when Flushing, Willets Point, and Corona will all share a seamless and integrated community. Thank you. Thank you, the mayor, and all those agencies involved in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Paul. Now I want to bring up our Borough President Donovan Richards.
Thank you, Francisco. What a great day to be here. I want to thank, obviously, all of my colleagues, Peter and Paul. There's like a Bible term for that, but we won't use it today. But I want to thank you. I want to thank Francisco for your leadership here, sir. Rachel, to Vicky, thank you. You know, coming out of this pandemic, we've talked about and we've heard a lot of conversations about getting back to normal. But today, this announcement represents the new normal of where we need to head coming out of this pandemic. We're just on the other side of these train tracks. We had thousands of people who died during this pandemic, where our communities were more impacted by COVID-19 than any other parts of the city. And today we begin that comeback story for Queens. We need to ensure that many of the disparities that have existed prior to this pandemic hitting our borough are addressed. And so today we don't simply put a shovel in the ground. And we look at 1,100 units of housing, and we like to tout numbers as city bureaucrats normally, but think about the lies behind those numbers. Think about the school seats that are being created here, how we have kids who are learning in classrooms with 50 kids perhaps in some of their classrooms. I went to a school like that, Jamaica High. But think about those children who will now be able to come in to a smaller class size because of this project. And think about infrastructure. And as the former chairman of the Environmental Protection Committee at one point in the council, there is nothing more sexy than infrastructure. We got to put the sexy back in infrastructure. It's a great term. We ought to celebrate it, because without infrastructure, we can't build communities. So today is a great day on so many fronts, and you stole some of my thunder, but I would say that this is certainly a grand slam for the borough of Queens. And may this administration keep investing in Queens, keep putting the money back into Queens. Queens is open for work. Queens is open for jobs, despite what we may hear in the air. We want development, but we want good development. Development that recognizes the importance of putting people first. And that's what we did here today. I see my good friend Frank over there. I want to thank Related, all of the partners who made this all possible. Thank you. Congratulations. Let's get the shovel in the ground, but let's get this thing done too. And let's get on to the next phase and the next project as well. Thank you. Congratulations. Queens is open for business. Thank you.
Thank you, Borough President. Now I'd like to bring up our State Senator Jessica Ramos.
Thank you, Francisco. I always appreciate an excuse to put my construction boots back on. I wasn't going to ruin my shoes or my ankles. But look, here in the district, you know, we're a people of big dreams. And we're a people of big fears, too. You know, we've been through a lot, as, you know, my colleagues have mentioned, and we really have been thinking about what will be the future for the Valley of Ashes for really a very long time. You know, before I joined the de Blasio administration, I was a member of Community Board 3. And actually, my father was a member of Community Board 3 before me. And we both had been part of the conversation to figure out with CB7 exactly how it was that Willets Point would be remediated and would be built in a way that puts Queens people first. And I'm here to say and commend not only the mayor, but my neighbor, Francisco Moya, our councilman, for putting in the work and listening to the people who need homes the most. We all know that land is a huge commodity in New York. We don't have enough of it. And so the biggest parcels of land need to be utilized in order to produce housing that is not only truly affordable, but prioritizes those who are homeless, those who have been through the roughest of times. And I'm so proud to see that this project does just that. So I hope that this project actually serves as a model, as an inspiration for the other projects that are to come to here, to Willets Point. I know lots of developers must be salivating at our parcel of land right here in Queens, and you're not going to be allowed to come here if you're not going to do the right thing. So thank you to everyone who's making this possible. I'm very eager to see this be a beautiful, remediated land that children and people can enjoy, and an entire brand new neighborhood that we can welcome to our families and to our streets. Thank you to everyone who played a role, and I very much look forward to working on whatever's to come here in Willets Point. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jessica. And now I'd like to bring up State Assembly Member Daniel Rosenthal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Could not have chose nicer weather. It is almost surreal that we are standing here at a groundbreaking. I think we have all been in the community meetings over years about what should be built here, how can we develop this land, and to be here at a groundbreaking is a really monumentous and surreal occasion. And just to add on what the borough president just said, after the year that we just had, and we read in the papers last year, the tabloids were almost too eager to talk about New York City's demise. And the fact yesterday, as the state announced that the COVID restrictions are over, and then today we are starting groundbreaking of building more infrastructure, building more affordable housing, building more parkland. New York City was never dead, and New York City is coming back stronger. And the timing of this couldn't be more beautiful. And I want to thank again EDC, Parks, and all the DOT and all the many agencies who worked so hard over the years to make this happen. And to Councilman Moya, who right when I got elected was extremely gracious and caught us up to speed on this project, and years of hard work. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you, Daniel. And now I want to bring up, of course, QDC Richard Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Richard Brown. I'm one of the partners at QDG, and it is a privilege to be here today. I was lucky enough to be involved in the construction of that beautiful stadium over your shoulders, and have been looking out at this acreage for many, many years, only hoping that there'd be a day like this that we could all celebrate the true start of this project. Councilmember Moya, Council Members Vallone and Koo, Mayor de Blasio, Deputy Mayor Bean, Rachel and Carl and Rob from EDC, who have been just working tirelessly with us through this project. Thank you so very, very much, and it's great to have representation from our State Assembly and Senate as well as the agency heads who's now part of this project. The very important one will be turned over to us to start the implementation phase of what this vision was and is and began literally 15, 20 years ago. I mean, I remember speaking to Fred Wilpon about this back in the 1990s on what the potential is for this acreage someday. And again, we're very, very grateful for this moment and this opportunity. It's also fitting, as you mentioned, the other administrations that have been involved here. You have to think of this as a legacy project, and we have great gratitude for the prior administrations as well, and the future to come. On these legacy projects, it's a great and unique quality where we are all part of something that is so much bigger than any one of us. You know that old cliche that it takes a village to do something meaningful and transformational. And we've had literally, I was reminiscing with my dear friend and partner Glenn Goldstein from Related. There have been thousands and thousands of people that have touched this project in one way, shape, or form just to get to this point. And now the best is yet to come. So to all of you, I thank you very, very much. To our partners, starting with Jeff Blau from Related, my dear friend, lifelong friend, Jeff Wilpon, Glenn Goldstein, Frank, thank you, Frank Monterisi, Michael Cantor, who's not here, and Connor Lahr, an extra thanks for you doing the work of 5 people over these years that you've been involved in this, and we're going to miss you very, very much. We understand the gravity of the responsibility here. We certainly have lived through the history of this. And are very proud that we are all started and unified on number one, cleaning up this land, putting in infrastructure in the I believe now the largest remaining piece of property in the city of New York, other than a park that has no infrastructure, and then again doing our part to address the affordable housing crisis that plagues this city. So we understand the responsibility. We will do the right thing and continue to do so. And the last analogy to sports I'll give before turning it over to Councilmember Moya is, you speak about the sports analogies. I think about momentum, and the Mets have some momentum right now. Hopefully the Islanders will continue their momentum. Projects get momentum also. We've had a lot of starts and stops on this project, but I truly believe that now, once we are here and we're now turning this over to our agencies, to Langen Engineering, to Triumph Construction, it'll be in good hands. You'll start to see the momentum. We start cleaning this land, and you're going to see a lot of magical things happen. The momentum will continue here. So thank you again very much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Richard. And right on cue, the mayor is here, but I just want to take this opportunity, Mr. Mayor, to thank you again for your partnership on this. I had said earlier how the first meeting we actually had, my first week at the council, was with you on Willets. And we talked about the legacy. And Richard just mentioned legacy. This truly is a legacy that you're going to leave behind for New Yorkers to look at in this community that will be able to benefit from what we've done here today. Deep, affordable housing, 1,100 affordable units, 600 seats for a school district that is overcrowded. We had a vision for this. It took us a little while, but we're doing it. And it's finally because a lot of people have come together to make this happen, and we couldn't have done it without your support. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please give it up for the mayor of the city of New York, Mayor de Blasio. We moved the step for you because we just didn't want to make sure.
Very considerate. Thank you. So we got to continue the sports analogy here. For a long time, this project was like Bobby Bonilla's contract. Just hanging out there. Just a big, long, challenging problem. But now we've turned a corner. Now it's more of a Pete Alonso or Francisco Lindor. You choose your favorite choice. This is now something that's happening and making an impact for this community. This is really exciting. Councilmember Francisco Moya, you have been really a picture of persistence. I want to give you credit. There are a lot of people you know in life, if you see them, they chat with you, they talk about one thing or another thing. If I saw the council member coming, I knew what he was about to say. I'd try and duck into the next room or something. I knew he was going to say, Willets, what's next on Willets? When are we going to Willets? And that's great. That's great. That's the way it should be. And it took a lot of work, but what I'm happy about is it has gotten better over time. We've really gotten back to what matters, which is making sure that people can live in this community. And when we've talked over the years and years, council member, about people in a working class community struggling to make it, struggling to afford to be here. And now I think that for 1,100 families, there's going to be a home. For 1,100 families are going to have a home here in Queens that they can depend on. Everyone who's a part of this, I want to thank all of you, because this is the kind of thing, we talk about affordable housing, but sometimes we forget what it means on a very human level. It means a family that will, for decades, know they have a place to lay their head, a place to bring up their children. They'll have peace, they'll have security. That's what you all are creating. I want you to look around. All the people made this possible. Everyone who's done the hard work. Give your neighbor a round of applause. Let's thank everybody who's here. So the cleanup begins, and then the construction begins. And there's a lot of people at City Hall, Deputy Mayor Vicky Bean and so many other of my colleagues at City Hall. We love when the construction begins. We love when something new gets created to serve this city. To all the elected officials who are here, I know this is passionate for all of you as well. Borough President, thank you. Everyone, I know this matters so much to you to do more and more and more of this. What's striking to me is we needed to be persistent to get this done, and we needed to make sure that it had the maximum benefit for the community. So that's 1,100 affordable homes, but it's also a public school, and not a small little public school, 650 seats. That is the future. Think about that, 650 seats. That means every year, hundreds and hundreds of kids getting a great education, and then the next class comes in, the next class comes in. A lasting impact on this borough and this city. This is the kind of thing that really makes a difference. So everyone, you should be proud of this day. Everyone who's been a part of this, thank you for hanging on and believing. Now the great things are about to happen. Construction starting next year. We are so excited about that, and then see things bloom on this site that will really help New Yorkers. Finally, want to say, I wanted to be here to thank everyone. I wanted to be here to mark finally progress and persistence, the impact. I wanted to be here because so many good people put your time and energy in. I wanted to thank you for what it will mean, but I especially wanted to be here because it's another sign of New York City's rebirth. Last year, you had people saying New York City couldn't come back. I was always amazed that anyone could get those words out of their mouth. People saying, oh, it's over for New York City. I say anyone who could say those words doesn't understand New Yorkers. They don't understand anyone here. If they thought for a moment we would be held down. And yes, we experienced the greatest crisis in our history. Yes, we were knocked down, but New Yorkers always get back up. That's who we are. So all over the city, I'm going to groundbreakings, I'm going to ribbon cuttings. This is a city coming back strong, ahead of schedule, with energy and passion. This is a city that's now welcoming back tourists already. A lot of people said it would take years. They're coming back right now. This is a city that's going to get to where we were before the pandemic and then go beyond. And it is amazing projects like this that are going to help lead the way. So everyone, see today as an example of our rebirth. There is no stopping Queens, and there's no stopping New York City. Thank you, everyone. Prepare to assume the shoveling position.
Can we back out of the shot?
Ladies.
We're going to do on a count of 3. Get your shovels ready. We're going to do 2 rounds. Hold on. All right. Your instruction is to throw the stones near but not on. Can you take your... All right, yes. Sure. 1, 2, 3. Crazy. Ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. Jessica, you out there. I saw Jessica was like, time for a break. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Let me put it down. Don't put it down. It's dusty. Roll it.